our stories from our perspective. Please subscribe or sponsor or advertise with us on YouTube, Facebook, or at Ghanaian-News@yahoo.com. Subscribe or order your monthly newspaper, the Ghana-Italian News Network, from Ghanaian-News@yahoo.com for a price of only €1. The Ghana-Italian News Network, available in all African churches and in all African shops. The last few years have seen an emphatic endorsement of African gospel by music lovers, members of the religious, business and entertainment communities all over the world, but more so in Italy, which has seen almost the rise of many brilliant and young upcoming ones. The GMA Italy Awards, according to the visioneer, Reverend Triumphant Igedosa, is meant to recognize pioneers in the industry.
Wonderful. Now we are into honoring men and women of God that is preaching the gospel, and also gospel singers, because the gospel singers, they are also preaching the word of God through music.
16th June 2012 marked the date for the event dubbed Gospel Music Awards Italy 2012. This year's award ceremony was held in the city of Bologna at the over 3,000-seated prestigious Ebenezer Church Auditorium. Nominees in diverse categories included various gospel artists from around Europe. Among those who were able to grab an award will include veteran gospel artist Minister Anne-Marie McCarthy. For the best live performance, Minister Thomas Andrews. For the best producer, Obed the Worshipper. Best gospel event holder, Minister Cynthia Ukatang. Best female artist, Pastor Deborah. Best song of the year, Silver Genesis Illuminator, Lucky and Mastodon, who was able to grab not less than 4 awards home. Reverend Diana Edubaini received an honorarium for the Lifetime Achievement Award of Excellence for a contribution to the gospel industry in Italy. The special award was not subject to votes. Many other ministers of God also were awarded for their service to the community. This include Pastor Alex Mansoni of the Holy Way Pentecostal Church, Bishop Peter from the Life Renewal Church, Mr. Paulo of the Novara Gospel, just a few to mention, and many, many more. The founder and president of this grand occasion, Reverend Igedosa Triumphant, said guests to this year's ceremony experienced an outstandingly exquisite celebration of African gospel music from all around the world.
Sir.
Italy competes at the 2012 Summer Olympics in London, United Kingdom, from the 27th of July 2012 through the 12th of August 2012. No Italian team was present for the sports of basketball, field hockey, football, and handball in these games. Gloria Hooper got the pass in the 200 meters thanks to the built-in lap time of 22.95 at the European Athletics held at Helsinki.
Oddio, è vero! Non ci ho neanche pensato!
The Azura, born in 1992 at Verona, but of Ghanaian origin, recorded a lap time less than the 23 pointers set by the committee from FIDAL for those in Class A as prerequisite to the 2012 Games. Hooper is the 275th athlete to qualify for London after 28 days of the opening of the Games. Ghanaian-Italian Gloria Hooper makes her Olympic debut with a 22.95 after her European sprint, which enabled her to run for Italy in women's 200 meters preliminary heat at the Olympic Stadium during the 2012 Summer Olympic Games in London, England, on Monday, the 6th of August 2012. For the 20-year-old Ghanaian-Italian, even the thrill of racing alongside the world #1 American Allyson Felix, who has no trouble winning the sprint in a controlled 22.71, was like a dream, says Hooper. It was different for the young Afro-Italian after the start as she turned to the curve with a decision, but then the bright and beautiful sprinter found out that the train was becoming too fast to be tracked. She closed in the 6th position at 23.25. This is her 3rd fastest time ever, but not enough to get through the round. And in an interview, Gloria said, quote, "Unfortunately, I ran the wrong curve. It was an experience from which I expected to do more. I came here today to come out with flying colors. I was in my very best and in the right condition to do it." The mortal remains of Ghana's late president, J.E.A. Mills, this afternoon was laid to rest at the Sundri Park, that's the Peace Park in Accra, the capital city of Ghana. The late President Mills passed through transition after a short illness on Tuesday, July 24, 2012, at the 37 Military Hospital. Earlier, an enthusiastic crowd followed the cortege of the late President John Evans Atta Mills as he made his last journey through some main streets of Accra to the Sundri Park where he was buried. A helicopter hovered overhead and the huge crowd followed the funeral cortege from the Independence Square through National Lotteries Authority, Old Parliament House, former Rex Cinema, Monvic Ambassador Hotel, the African Liberation Circle, passed in front of the State House to the burial ground. Some among the crowd waved Ghana flags, handkerchiefs and scarves as the cortege passed by them. Others were seen using their mobile phones and cameras to capture the scene. President John Atta Mills, who was the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, was buried with full military honors at the G's Park. He was buried after a 2-hour funeral service at the Independence Square, attended by at least a dozen presidents and delegations from various parts of the world. President John Dramani Mahama, Vice President Kwesi Bokoe, Emisa Arthur, former First Lady Ernestina Nadu Mills, family members, former President Jerry John Rawlings, ministers of state, politicians, and thousands of people witnessed the burial. Wreath decorated in national colors on behalf of the government and people of Ghana. Other wreaths were laid by Mrs. Nadu Mills, Dr. Cadman Mills on behalf of the family, Dr. Mary Grant on behalf of the Council of State, David Esumeng, MP for Shai Osukodu, on behalf of Parliament, and Lieutenant General Peter Blade, Chief of Defence Staff, on behalf of the Secretary of State.
But in young coupons, I say, walk what dear and point me, Yamin no dear, and be a waffle papa. Was walk, bread, or baby and Gassa. On my Ghana, I was seeing in a man because Bema baby no being in a dear bomb pies in a mere funny cry and see ye, and that you in your cushion one, you have to have seen.
Well, like everyone, I'm really very sad because, you know, a person like the president is a really big shock when somebody of this
rank,
yes, dies. So I'm really sad because, for me, he was not even too old. So I don't know what to say.
So what did you do today? Today, I mean, you in Italy, Ghanaian in Italy, what did you do?
Well, I prayed for him, even if I know that only God can judge. And I wish all the best for his family, obviously. So, spero che tutti non siano troppo tristi e comunque sappiano che è una brava persona.
Fire which saw 22 fire tenders with 2 turntable ladders fight and 8 gutted 6 warehouses, a private residence, a restaurant, and part of the Total filling station situated along the North Industrial Road in Accra. The uncontrollable fire, which was said to have started as a small spark in the former Loyalty Garment Factory, with the aid of the wind, spread fast to engulf other properties. The former Loyalty Garment Factory presently houses 6 warehouses, which include an alcohol supply warehouse where the fire is said to have begun. JK Industries, the warehouse of a printing press. Top Industries warehouse. KJM Industry Limited, a plastic manufacturing company warehouse, and some other warehouses which had chemicals and sacks in them. The fire which gutted the warehouse said to belong to some Indian businessmen, one of whose name was given only as Pawan, further spread to their residence, which is just behind the edifice, as well as the Bamboo restaurant, which is behind the Total filling station. It also gutted the roofing of a supermarket at the filling station and some parts of an office adjacent to the mat at the filling station. The close to 50 fire officers who battled the fire had a hectic time as the wind carried sparks from the raging fire to other areas. Cargo plane hits bus in Ghana airport. The plane had been coming in the land when it overshot the runway, officials say. 10 passengers on board the bus were reported to have been killed, while all 4 crew members survived. Local TV showed the heavily damaged Boeing 727 Allied airplane lying across the road close to Kotoka International Airport. Ghana's airport operator said the plane, which had flown from Lagos, Nigeria, overshot the runway. It said in a statement that the 4 crew members were receiving treatment at an airport clinic. The aircraft collided with a minivan, resulting in 10 confirmed fatalities, the statement added. Police and troops condoned of the scene following the incident just after 19 GMT on Saturday, June 2nd. Ghana's vice president, who is Ghana's now president at that time, told reporters at the airport that a thorough investigation will be carried out. Quote, "No early conclusions should be drawn. We should allow investigation to arrive at the actual cause. But I can assure Ghanaians that the situation is under control," he said. Unquote. Ghana's airport company said flights were continuing as normal at the airport. The small but rich city of Carrara with its inhabitants has once again shown that it is not how big one is, but what a big heart one has. Out of the city, one of the thriving and founding gospel choirs, the joyful singers led by Ms. Simona Parlagi, thought of the children's department of the Apuana Hospital in Tuscany and held a gospel aid concert to raise funds for them. The special guest artist was no other than Reverend Diana Edu Baini, whose prophetic and music ministry runs across the church to those outside, and special guest choirs like Art Academy from La Spezia. The concert was held at the illustrious Garibaldi Theatre in the center of Carrara. Other choirs present included the prestigious Italian Arts Academy choir, who cheered the audience with some lovely African a cappella gospel tunes with just the conga. Reverend Diana then took on the stage with some solos accompanied by pianist Paola Parlagi, and then was joined by the host choir to perform Shout to the Lord. Even though she was the only Afro-Italian present, Reverend Diana said that nothing brought her joy and fulfillment than seeing the hilarious audience patiently listening to her sermon and then join in shouts of praise with her with all her might. This, according to her, was the biggest breakthrough since the majority present were unbelievers.